All right, so I've been hearing, probably for years, that some people claim that Ableton degrades the sound when they export the sound. So, in other words, what they're hearing inside the DAW sounds different or is perceived as a lower quality when it is exported outside the DAW. All right, so what I wanted to do is look into this and let's actually do an experiment to see if this is actually true. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I've got just this kick sample right here. So this is what we're going to use as our subject. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preview it inside the Mac. All right, so we have this here. All right, and also I'm going to preview it inside. Oop. Give me just a second here. Let's get rid of all this and let's import it here. All right. And I'm going to turn off the repeat so we could just. All right, great. So they both sound the same to me so far. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this in. All right. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this sound. All right. So let's come over here and export. And I'm exporting at 16-bit because that's what the original sample was at. So going 24 bits not going to make it sound any better. And we're not adding any dithering, and we're definitely not making an MP3 of this. That would sound different because MP3 is a lower quality than the original WAV file. All right. So we'll go ahead and export this, and I'm going to call this Kick from Ableton. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this back into this track. And if we take a look, everything seems pretty much the same. All right. So if I play back inside Ableton, actually I have assigned little keys so I can switch back and forth. And we've got this loop happening. So let's go from the original to the exported version. All right. I'm not hearing any difference. You can go and play that back as many times as you like there. So now what I want to do is I want to play this back on another player. So I've got this and I've got my imported kick here. All right. So first we'll play this one. So that's the imported. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop this real quick. That way it'll just kind of go back and forth. So I'm hearing a difference now. It seems like the original has a bit more snap than the exported version. All right. So what's going on here? What is the problem? Well, what the issue very well could be is that what you'll notice here is that Ableton creates these very short volume curves when you import audio. This way it avoids clicks and things like that, right? So what's happening is the very beginning is being rolled off. So if I were to back this up, right, and then I can back this up here, as we can see, there's a lot more content here in the beginning than over here. So let's repeat the process. I'm going to remove this kick, and then we will export this again. All the same parameters. And we'll just name this kick from Ableton 2. And now what I'll do is I'll remove this. Let's drag this in here. And now let's see if we can hear a difference in the playback. Okay, so far I'm hearing no difference now. So let's go ahead and import that into Ableton. And as you can see, it did that roll off there, right? So let's pull that back. And now, original, exported version. And if we look at the waves, no matter how close we go in, they are identical. All right. So from this experiment, I see that the only difference that is happening is when you play something inside and outside. So let's have this here, and then we'll have our VLC player. All right. We're going to play the same sound. This is going to be outside. This is going to be inside. If I turn this up in volume, right? And then I play this one here. The volume difference might make this here sound bigger and better than what's in here. But if I turn the volume down, and now I play this one, right? And then I play this one here. Now, even though it's the exact same sample, just because the volume is lower on this playback than this one, the perceived quality seems to be better on the one in Ableton as opposed to the one outside, even though it's the exact same sample. So this is most likely what is happening, is that you're hearing something at a certain volume inside Ableton. Then when you export it, you're just hearing it at a lower volume, and then when you're comparing the two, you think that it's a lower quality. It's not a lower quality. You're simply listening to it at a slightly different playback volume. So what I think is happening in a lot of cases is the people that are complaining that Ableton's export sounds different is that they are probably trying to master their own stuff and try to get it as loud as some other commercial stuff, which you really shouldn't be doing. What you should be doing is making a good mix. You'd probably have the loudest volume on your master should be hitting like -3, right? And then what you want to do is get a professional mastering engineer to master your songs like the professional songs out there are being mastered. Don't try to master your own stuff. The problem that a lot of people that master their own stuff is they think it sounds better because it sounds louder. And if you actually play it back in a club with a really good sound system, you're going to definitely hear the difference and hear it as lower quality, even though the volume's there. So let's try to avoid the volume war and just understand that all that's happening is there's a different playback volume in Ableton than there might be with where you're playing back outside of Ableton. Okay, I hope that this clears up this argument that Ableton degrades the quality when you export it. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe and do all that different stuff if you dig what you're seeing. And if you've got any questions that you would like me to answer in another video, make sure to drop it in the comments, and I'll speak to you guys real soon. Take care.